Well, hello there, health coaches. Today is a special day. It's very exciting around here. So, thank you so much for joining me for our 200th episode. It feels like just yesterday that I was sitting in my kitchen. This is in the house that I lived in. Oh boy, this is 2 moves ago, thinking, well, I'm going to go live in my Facebook group every week. Why don't I just turn it into a podcast? Thus, the Health Coach Power Community podcast was born. And today I want to share 3 big lessons learned about podcasting. I also have a giveaway to thank you, all of my listeners, for your time and your attention every week. So I see Katie's here and Shannon's here and Jennifer's with me and another Shannon's here. Thank you so much for helping me celebrate today. It really is a big milestone in the podcasting world. If you have any questions as we go along, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm going to do my best to keep my eye on all my chats and answer, as I always like to do during these live episodes, because otherwise I could just record them by myself any time of day, any day of the week. And if there were technical issues, I could just redo it. But instead, we do it live and we publish, even with all of the technical issues. So here is the first lesson that I have learned about podcasting. People are out there, they really, really are searching for answers to their problems. And they're going to Google, but did you know that they're searching podcasts for keywords related to their problems? They really are. Like Apple Podcasts, that is a whole search engine. You have no idea how many health coaches have told me that they found me. Maybe they even ended up joining Healthy Profit University because they did a search inside Apple. And here's the thing, what helps somebody decide that they're going to listen to a show? They're going to take their precious time and actually listen to this particular podcast. Also, what helps the show appear as suggested for a listener? Like, you like this show, maybe you'll also like, it's all about reviews. Reviews are everything when it comes to podcasting. So here is the giveaway that I've devised for us in honor of this 200th episode. Here's what I want you to do. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review, a written review. Then at the end of July, and this is July 2022, I'm saying the year just in case anyone is listening to this show a long time from now. So at the end of July 2022, I'm going to release an episode announcing the winner of a private coaching call with me. The winner is going to be selected randomly from all the reviews submitted over the month. And what you need to know about this is it does take a couple of days or even a week sometimes when you submit a podcast review for it to actually appear, because it goes through some sort of process on Apple's end. So don't wait. You want to head over to Apple Podcasts, search for the Health Coach Power Community, scroll down to where it says reviews, and leave yours right now. How about right now to enter the giveaway? And you'll receive one lucky winner will receive a coaching call with me, which is an extreme rarity. This is not something you can buy. Sometimes people ask, can I buy a session with you? No, this is not something that I offer willy-nilly, but come on, for our 200th episode, let's do it. And during your coaching call, we can discuss your business, your goals. We can move through your stuck places. We can even talk about your own health if that's something that you would like to focus on. It's up to you. So remember, go leave a review now, and I'll announce the winner at the end of July. And at the very least, I always read reviews on the air. So if you're not our lucky winner, you'll still hear your review on an upcoming episode, and we would like to send you a thank you gift. Amy's saying that she loves the braids. For those of you listening and you don't see me on video, I did my hair in 2 Pippi Longstocking braids today, and my hair is getting very long. And I thought, oh my goodness, these braids, if I whip my head around, I could really hurt somebody or possibly myself. But it's very summery today. So thanks for the braid compliment. So that was number 1. Reviews are everything for a podcast. It's not always easy to get people to leave reviews. So sometimes you offer a reason, like I'm doing today. This is a great big giveaway in order to encourage people to go ahead and leave the review. It's not that they don't want to. It's not that they don't love your show. It's just that, it takes an extra 30 seconds, 60 seconds out of their day to do it. And they need a little bit of encouragement. Okay, we're going to move on to the next big lesson that I've learned about podcasting through the years. And I should mention, this is not my first podcast, but this is my first successful podcast, meaning I had started other shows in the past that kind of went, for various reasons. I couldn't keep up with it. I made it too complicated for myself. This is the first time it's really been successful. And how do we measure success with a podcast? Anyway, I mean, you can always go in and look at your statistics. But what I want to say is, don't do that. Don't look at your statistics too much. Maybe look a little bit. But I got to tell you, if I get too wrapped up in looking at the download numbers, or if I spent that first year of the show obsessing about my stats, and it's so easy to do that, I would never be here today. I would have become discouraged at times. I would have become distracted. So instead, take all that energy and put it into continuously creating useful content. Put energy into listening to your audience. That's what I've done. And week after week after week, the other thing is I kept showing up. Sometimes, especially in the beginning, if you see that your download numbers are way smaller than you wanted them to be, it's like, is it even worth it? Just don't look, just keep going. I check in on my stats every now and then. And often I'm surprised. See, stats are interesting, but you don't actually need a zillion people listening to your show. You don't need a huge audience, but what you need are very engaged listeners. So if you have a podcast, again, the numbers of downloads doesn't matter, but are these people loving your show? Are they doing whatever you're asking them to do during your episodes? Are they telling other people about your show? A very small engaged audience will lead you to paying clients. A very, very large audience where everybody just listens to one episode and then they're out of there. This doesn't do much for your business, right? So we want to nurture the audience that we have, even if it's small. I mean, same thing goes for your mailing list. So like I said, I look at my stats so infrequently that a few weeks ago, I was going in to look at something else. I don't know. And I just noticed at the top of the page that we had gone over 300,000 downloads. And I didn't even know. I was totally shocked. I didn't even know that milestone was coming. So I kind of missed it, but I liked that. So keep your head down, do the work, and let the stats just be a happy surprise down the line. For those of you who have your own podcast, and I know a couple of you do, are you looking at your stats? Is that something that is helping you, that is hindering you? I mean, it almost feels like when you post something on Instagram and then all day you're like, how many likes did I get? And it's just, it's just distracting from actually doing the work. And sometimes it really brings you down. And I find it to be counterproductive. Now, speaking of stats, I wanted to share with you the top 3 episodes that we've published since 2018. And I said we on purpose because I could not do this show by myself. My assistant, Kelly, does all of the production work to get this recording out to you on Apple and Spotify and YouTube. If you don't have somebody helping you in your business, don't worry about trying to be on all the places. It can be a lot of work to do that. Just publish to one platform at a time. And once that becomes easy, then maybe you can add on a second. But Kelly helps me be in more places with this show. And she actually puts the show together for me. So thank you, Kelly. And then Katie is always here helping me out in the broadcast. You'll often see her in the comments. She helps me, she'll let me know, Michelle, you're not broadcasting, or she'll do things for me on the back end to make sure things are working as well as they can. And then most of all, you guys are super important to the show because all of you, the members of my Health Coach Power community, the concept of this podcast is to interact with you live. I cannot do that by myself. So any of you who have ever joined me live as we're broadcasting, thank you. Thank you so much. Like, you make the show. Your participation in our Facebook group makes the show. That's where all the content for this show comes from. So anyway, as a little retrospective, here are our top 3 most popular episodes, and I chose them from 3 different categories. Shannon saying, this is my first time joining live instead of listening to it on podcast later. Very cool to feel like you are part of the podcast action. You really are. I mean, obviously, I just read your words on the air, Shannon. You are part of the show just by being here live. And let me tell you, as a podcaster, so much more interesting. I mean, it's a little more risky because I never know what the comments are going to be, or we're always like, oh, am I going to know the answer to that? But as long as you're okay with being like, I don't know the answer, or that doesn't make sense to me, and just moving on with the show, I find it makes for a much more dynamic episode. So the first episode I want to share with you is the one that has the most downloads ever, like lifetime downloads. And that is episode number 1, the very first episode that I did. It's called How Many One-on-One Clients Do You Consider Your Max? Which is kind of a funny question. I might as well ask you, since you guys are here, how many one-on-one clients do you consider your max? Somebody asked me that in the group and I decided to answer it. And that was also the week that I decided to turn this whole thing into a podcast. And I think that's kind of funny. Like, this is our number 1 show, maybe because it's a useful topic, but I'm sure the real reason it's number 1 is because when people start listening to a podcast, they often start at episode number 1. I don't know, at this point, you'd have a lot of catching up to do because now we're at 200, right? But anyway, this is hilarious because I did not begin this podcast with any plan. I had no strategy, and I did not, I'll tell you this, I did not carefully choose that first episode's topic. So if I could go back in time, I would make sure that episode number 1 set the stage for the show, maybe told my story of becoming a health coach, why I also mentor health coaches, and basically provided the perfect introduction to the health coach power community. Wouldn't that make a whole lot more sense for episode number 1 that you just know everybody's going to be listening to? Well, I had no idea. So I'm telling you, and if you're planning on starting a podcast ever, hopefully you will remember that tip. But alas, episode number 1 is available to you wherever you like to listen. It's our most popular show ever. How many one-on-one clients do you consider your max? Now for number 2, I didn't just look at which episode came next, like in terms of lifetime downloads, because all statistics, right? It depends on how you interpret them. So obviously episodes that have been around for 3 years, for 4 years, they have more lifetime downloads just because they've been available longer. So I thought, all right, let's look at a different stat. Which episode really hit it out of the park in the first 90 days of its release, regardless if it was released, this year or 4 years ago? And turns out that episode was episode 178, Starting Your Health Coaching Practice. This also doesn't really come as a shock. Does this shock you guys? I mean, so many of our listeners are brand new health coaches just getting off the ground. And this episode was no accident. Unlike episode number 1, where I wasn't doing anything with any sort of plan or strategy, 178 episodes later, I was a little bit smarter, a little bit more strategic. So we definitely did this one on purpose. Whenever you're creating content, you want to pay attention to who is in your audience and what they need, what they're asking you for, not what you necessarily want to be talking about, but what they want to hear about. It makes so much sense, right? And many of our shows have been about topics that apply to more advanced coaches. We have coaches in our community who've been practicing for many, many years, but time and time again, I know that health coaches are finding this show because they need help just getting started. Was that any of you? Maybe you went to Apple Podcasts and searched health coaching because you're like, oh my God, how do I even start? So we were there for you. Anyway, if you are new to coaching and you haven't checked out that episode before, you can check it out in the archives. Again, it's 178, Starting Your Health Coaching Practice. And then finally, the episode with the most downloads in the first 7 days of its release, and this is just another set of statistics that I can find on my show, this is actually an episode we didn't do too long ago. It was episode 194. It was called 2 Thought Patterns Keeping You and Your Business Stuck. Did you listen to that one? Anyone listen to that one? That was a favorite. I felt like that was a standout episode. That was a different kind of topic than I normally cover. Now, here's the thing. Again, statistics have to be interpreted. So was this just like the most popular topic that I ever chose for a podcast episode? No, I don't think so. What makes an episode really popular in terms of statistics right out of the gate has a lot to do with when and how it gets promoted. Like, Did I email it to my mailing list right away that week? I must have. I don't always do that right away. Did I post about it to social media within the first day or two? So I want you to remember that whenever you're creating content, and this could be blogging, this could be, YouTube videos that you're making. Remember, when you're creating content, half of the job, and arguably more than half of the job, is how are you going to get eyeballs on your stuff, like all the promoting that goes along with it. So don't just create and assume that followers are going to simply stand in line and wait for whatever you've put out there. Like all week long, they're like, "Ooh, when is the next episode coming out?" Some might do that, but for the most part, you need to build in a marketing plan. How are you going to get your stuff in front of people? So with episode 194, 2 thought patterns keeping you and your business stuck, it was well promoted. I believe that's what happened. And it was released at a very busy time of year when I had lots of eyes on my business and on the show after our big fast track launch. So all the stars aligned for this episode. Popular topic, good timing, well promoted, boom. And that's what puts it right up there in our most popular episode in the first 7 days after its release. Kristen saying, congrats on the 200 episodes. That's huge. It is pretty huge, right? I mean, what's the next big one? Obviously 300, but can we make it to 500? How many more years is that? OMG. Okay, so we've talked so far about podcast reviews, podcast statistics. Any questions about any of that so far? It really is interesting to look at those numbers. And I'm glad that I did it for this milestone, but I promise I'm not going to peak again for at least another couple of months. The final big lesson that I've learned about podcasting along this journey is getting it done is better than not getting it done. Now, tell me in the chat, everyone who's here with me live, what can that apply to in your own business? Like maybe you have a podcast, but maybe you don't, but I'm telling you, this applies to so many things in your business. Tell me in the chat, for you, getting it done is better than not getting what done? Maybe it's emailing your list. So easy to procrastinate about that. Maybe you have a blog, right? We need to get it done. Get the post up on social media, get that video done, get that opt-in page created so you can have people sign up for your webinar, your 5-day challenge. Shannon says, freebies, got to get a freebie done. Yes, if you don't have a freebie, it's very difficult for anyone to join your mailing list. Getting it done is better than not getting it done. And that means it doesn't have to be perfect. That means you can always get it done again later, get another one done later. Tom says, just start posting. I assume that means social media. Just start posting, especially in the beginning. Listen, now we have tens of thousands of listeners to this podcast. But when I released that very first episode, we had many fewer listeners. So if the show wasn't so good, if I made a mistake, whatever, who cares? Not that many people were listening to it, except episode number 1, which everybody still listens to, which is just funny. But in terms of social media, it doesn't work like that. Generally, people do not scroll back to the beginning of your feed and start there. They start in reverse chronological order. So people who are joining you today are going to see the best of you today. And as you grow and as you post more and you have more eyeballs, they're going to see what's new that day. Amy says, progress over perfection. I need to listen to this advice. Got to get my ass in gear. Amy, get your ass in gear. That's right. You just have to make progress and it doesn't have to be perfect. And you would tell your clients the same things, right? Like, what do our clients do, or rather not do, because they're being total perfectionists about it? It's like, if I can't make a dinner that looks like it came off the cover of Bon Appetit, then I'm not going to cook. And in reality, like last night, I fed my kids like black beans and rice. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always beautiful. It's just get it done. Here's what I want to say about the podcast. You guys have no idea how many weeks I have been like, I don't really think that was a very good episode. Like, I'm just kind of feeling meh about it. I got it done, but nah. But then I get all this great feedback and people tell me that they love the show, or they got this out of it, or they're binge listening and they're enjoying it so much. And then I'm like, oh, I probably definitely am my worst critic. But embracing that imperfection is so important for getting it done, especially, as I mentioned, because we do these live, the quality of the show is not perfect. The audio can be iffy. You know, sometimes I bang my microphone like this. Sometimes the live video doesn't work. I've had episodes where I accidentally muted myself in the middle of it. I've had times where my doorbell rang or my kids distracted me. Or even like right now, as I'm recording, I'm getting a reminder up on my phone that says I got to go pick up my kids from camp. And I'm like, I know, but I'm in the middle of an episode, right? Like, it's easy to get distracted. Things happen when you're live, mistakes happen. We purposely don't edit any of that out. So if you've ever heard something funny happen on the show, or you've heard me flub up my words or just make a big mistake, yeah, we just leave it in there. It is raw, it's unedited, so that you can see, or you can hear, I guess, if you're listening, what it's really like what this process is really like. And with all these imperfections, we've still touched, you know, tens of thousands of lives, with coaches telling me that they listen to all the episodes every week. And because we don't worry about getting it done perfectly, that is precisely why we keep getting it done. Now, before we end for today, I want to remind you that I'm offering a free coaching call, you and me, baby. This is a giveaway prize. And to enter, all you have to do is leave a review on Apple Podcasts. By the way, if you have your own podcast, I decided it would be so cool to collect a directory of like health coach owned shows, or create a directory. Maybe I'll even do like a roundup episode in the next couple of weeks. I want to know about all the podcasts happening in this community. I know about some of your shows, but I definitely don't know about all of them. So after you leave a review, if you have your own show, would you email us about it? Thank you in advance. You can just send a note to support@healthcoachpower.com. And that way I can use my platform to promote your platform. And maybe we can all leave reviews of each other's shows, because that is the beautiful thing about community. Think of it like a potluck dinner in your neighborhood where everybody brings something. We all can bring to each other our support, our experience, sharing what works inside of our Facebook group. And most certainly it takes 30 seconds to leave a review. So I would be happy to do that for any of you that have a show. And remember, if you do it for this show, by the end of July, I'll announce a winner of the giveaway. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining me for our 200th episode. We're going to have lots more milestones. Can you imagine when we hit 500,000 downloads? Like, my brain just explodes when I think about it, but I couldn't do it without all of you. So I'm really blessed that you're here with me today, and I will see you again next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.